Hi Papercrafters, welcome to another Design with Joe video. I'm Joanne Rogers, a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Central Alberta, Canada, and I've been designing with you in mind since 1999. Today's video is an edited version of a live recording. Enjoy! So, Case the Cattie. What the heck is that? So what I do is I take a current Stampin' Up! Catalog design and I break it down and I show you how to make it, but I don't make exactly what's in the catalog. I use something different and I give you a couple other ideas on top of that. So you're going to want to stick around right to the end so that you can see them. So you end up getting at least 4 different ideas of how to make this particular layout. And I usually link it to a technique. And so today's is no different. This is how to create a background with rubber stamps. I'd also be over the moon thrilled if you will share this with your friends on Facebook, so that if you have crafters who might also like to learn a little bit about making cards or taking something and copying it, so CASE stands for copy and share everything, then please share it with them so that they can join in too. So what I do with my Case the Cattie is I take a design out of a current Stampin' Up! Catalog, and today I'm working with the annual catalog, and this annual catalog is gorgeous. If you need one of these, certainly message me and say, Joe, I need to get one of those. I can send anywhere in Canada, so just let me know. So I'm going to make one of these designs. And if you partook, I think that's the right word, I posted yesterday this picture and I asked you to guess which one you thought I was going to make. And I think maybe only 1 or 2 people have guessed the correct one, but it doesn't matter. You don't have to guess correctly. I put your name in a draw, and whatever I do make today, you are going to be winning. Okay, and I'll do that draw right at the end. So we're going to make one of these, and I'll come back to it in just a minute. So I'm going to work with the Beauty of Tomorrow stamp set. So this stamp set is one that I haven't used before in anything for any of my lives, and it's a gorgeous stamp set. So it is great for fall, but not just for fall. I think anytime you can have stamps like these, they're not just for fall. Even this, the changing of leaves, reminds us that the new wonders are just around the corner. So that maybe is fall, but I know this is a difficult day, or I'm here for you. Some people are just likable. Those are all occasion, and that's why I like stamps like this. So we're going to use this, and we're going to use quite a number of stamps out of here. We're going to use this one, we're going to use this guy, and I'm doing the some people are just likable, and you're one of those people. And this is what we're going to be working with. And I always edit this video and put up all of the measurements for you just a little bit later. And so you'll be able to get them, but if you want to write them down now, you can. So there's a few different ones on this card. So we have a regular card, it's upside down. This is just 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4 and folded in half. We have another piece of the same color, and this one is 4 by 5 1/4. And then we have, I'm going to be working with some colors that coordinate with the shaded spruce. And I'm going to work with a piece of Sahara sand, and this is 3/4 by 4. Another piece that is 1 by 3 3/4, and then a scrap, and a scrap of Pool Party. Here's my piece of paper to stamp on. We're going to be using shaded spruce, and we're going to create a background very quickly and easily. So when you create a background, what you just want to think about is whether you want to do tone on tone, which is what we're going to do today, or whether you want to do color on top of a lighter color of paper. So we're doing tone on tone, and it's very easy to create a background. There's a couple things that you might want to think about. I'm going to use this one right here for my background. Because my stamp is bigger than my stamp pad, I turn it on its back and I just pat right over top of it. So once you have it inked up, what we want to do is we want to create a whole picture on here, and we don't want it to only be limited to the inside of our paper. We want it to actually expand out of our paper, because then it's going to make it look larger and not like it's all squished in. So what I tend to do is I just stamp from the right into the left. So I'll stamp once and then I ink up again. And the reason why I do that is I've created a break right here, and it will stamp differently. If I were to go stamp that again a second time, what I'm going to get is a lighter and a darker mix. So I always ink up. And now for my next one, I usually turn my paper, especially for a big stamp like this, turn my paper so that my stamp is not going in the exact same direction. And I stamp it again so it's going to go off of my edges. So that way we're creating, excuse me, a background that's going to be just a little bit different. It's going off and you're never going to see the same thing twice. So I'm going to ink and stamp every time. And I'm going to do a very similar thing. I'm going to come in and I'm going to come in from a different direction every time and create a background all over that piece. So this time I'm going to go this way. And we are going to put stuff on top of here. So we're not going to be seeing all of this. But right now I don't know what's going to peek out and what's not. So again, turn your paper, turn your stamp, and that way it doesn't look like you are doing the exact same thing every time. Okay, so there's our background, and we are done with this particular stamp. I'm going to clean that just a little bit later. I'm going to leave this color out. Now I'm going to start my stamping of my words. So I'm going, this is the, some people are just likable. So I'm going to turn that over and I'm going to stamp that on top of my bigger piece of Sahara sand. So ink that up again. And I really like this the words on here because it's like typewriter and then somebody's writing. And so it really does emphasize some of the different words. So to try and get this straight, I'm going to line up my piece of paper on my grid paper. And then I'm going to try and stamp this straight without getting my head too much in here. Let's see how I'm doing. Not bad. So there's the green, and now I'm going to go in with the same color Sahara sand as my paper. So I'm going to go in with the next one that says you're one of those people, and I'm going to put that down here. Again, trying to get that in without trying to get it straight. Not too bad with getting my head in there. Okay, we'll put those aside, and we're going to leave this out. So there's our words. Now I need a background here, but I don't want the same background that I have here. I'm going to do color on top of that. So I'm going to do my shaded spruce right on top here. And these are just like splotches. And so same thing, I'm going to keep moving my stamp around all over the place just to create a background. And it's like creating your own designer paper. So if you use pattern paper and you love that in your card making, this is exactly how you can create some yourself. Just want a little bit down there. And so just let that dry for just a little bit. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull in these two scraps. So this scrap first, I'm going to cut with my layering circles. So I want two different sizes of layering circle. I want a larger one that is 2 1/8, and I'm just going to cut that. And then when I'm done this guy, I'm going to cut that out with the 1 and I think it's 5/8. Yes, so I write on mine so that I know what size they are. Now you probably have guessed what we're doing, right? Have you guessed which of the cards we are recreating here? So I had lots of guesses for the tulips and I had lots of guesses for this one. And I was going to do this one, but I changed my mind because I thought, you know what, sometimes we don't look against the fold of the fold. Is that the fold? Whatever that is, the edge of our books. And this one here is got some great layout. So I wanted to show you both the background and the layout. So that's the one we're making. So what I want to do here is I want to take this smaller one, this smaller, I don't know, ferny, flowery thing, and I'm going to stamp that in my shaded spruce on top of my Sahara sand, and I'm going to cut that out with my layering circle. So my piece of scrap is just the right size. So you might want to go a little bit larger on your scrap. So I'm going to run both that and that through my Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine. And I have already done that. So I have a piece here and I have a piece here. So this one, we're going to do something just a little bit different. So I'm going to do my pool party. So we've created a background here like this. We've created a background like this. Now I want to create a background with this big one that looks completely different. So we really are going to have 3 different types of background on this card. So I'm going to clean using my Simply Chamois. and I cut mine in half so that it just gives it a little bit more usable piece when I go to put it onto my stamparatus. And this is damp with a little bit of just plain water. You can pick it up if it doesn't look like it's cleaning. Mine was cleaning, not too bad, but there's all kinds of ways that you can use your Simply Chamois. And when it comes, it's a nice bright purple. This one's been used an awful lot. So now I'm going to ink it up with my Pool Party. So I'm doing tone on tone again. And this time I'm just going to go around the outside edges of that circle. So I'm going to go around and around. I just want a little bit going into the inside. Okay, so we're just going to create that. So it doesn't really look like this one. We've taken this whole stamp and we've used it in different ways so that it looks very different. And let's just put this together because this is not a difficult card. It's got lots of neat elements on here. So I'm going to pull in my piece of Pool Party. So this is Pool Party ribbon and this is sheer. So what I like about it is that it almost takes on the color of the paper that you put it on, because this is Pool Party and we're going to use it on the shaded spruce. And I have my piece cut out. This is a very generous piece I gave myself. You really only need about 4.5 inches. Okay, so let's put it together. We're going to start with our ribbon, and I'm going to put that on with a mini glue dot. I'm going to put that on the back here. And I'm just going to take my ribbon right on top of my glue dot, and I'm going to place that around. So if we were to go place it around, and I'm going to move this to the back. I just want to get this in place for a moment first. So I'm going to just fold that around to the back so it sticks. And now I'm going to take a little bit of my Stampin' Seal. I'm going to put my silicone craft sheet underneath because it's a little easier for me to work with. And I am going to put a little bit of my seal right there so it sticks to it. And then just burnish that really, really well. Okay, now we're going to leave that for just a moment because the next thing I want to do is take our words, and I'm going to use the Banners Pick-a-Punch, and I'm going to create a flag. So I'm going to put this in, and I usually always put this in so that I can see the writing, so that if I'm about to cut off some writing, I want to know that. So I'm going to put it all the way in, and then I'm going to look and make sure that it seems to be centered, and mine is not centered right now. So I'm going to move it over just a little bit. Make sure that it's butted right up against this edge here, so it's flat. Oh, and then you move it again. Here we go. Now, hold your mouth just right, and then punch. And that goes flying all over the place. So we've got that created. We're going to put this, first of all, underneath here, but I want to cut off that ribbon. So I have a pair of ribbon scissors from quite a while ago, but this here in the picture is just a little bit shorter. And it's nice and square edged, which I hardly ever do. I almost always do a diagonal. Now we're going to take this one, the one background that we made, and we're going to put some of our seal on, get it going. Okay, so this is going to go on top here so you can still see the ribbon. So you're going to line that up there. This is going to go on with dimensionals. And I think, yeah, let me find some dimensionals. Here they are. We're going to put that on here. And really, we could probably glue that piece of Sahara's shaded spruce onto the rest of our card, but we want some dimensionals on there too. Okay, so place that down on top. And tone on tone is just going to give a little bit of a shadowy kind of effect around the outside of the card. Next, we're going to put this on. And you can see how you just sort of build up from the bottom to the top, from the back of the card, I'm going to call that the back, to the front of the card. So this overlaps so that we see the background piece and we see the ribbon, but butts right up against the edge of the card. And then we're going to see our card here, our background. So we got lots of background pieces happening here. And now we're going to take and put dimensionals on these two as well. And be sure to stick around because I do have other designs I want to show you. And this one goes probably right there. We want to see all of those pretty pieces in the background, and then this is going to go right over top. Okay, so there's most of our card. We have one final little piece we want to put on, and that is a linen thread bow. And I did do this in advance so that you didn't have to watch me struggle to make a bow, just in case I had a little bit of a challenge with it. So what I do is I take my glue dot. Normally I always take a ribbon and put it on the glue dot, but because this is smaller than the glue dot, I'm going to first of all use my take your pick tool to fold that in half and sort of turn it into almost a little ball. Pick that up, and then that ribbon is going to go right on this edge over here. So I'm going to place that down on my card and lift it off of my take your pick tool. And then I'm going to take my bow and I'm going to put that right over top. And that way I shouldn't get any glue stuck out. I have a tiny little bit. Okay, so there's our card. And if I bring in the card here, okay, so there's the card we made. There's the card that Stampin' Up! Made. So just a little bit different. This one's a happier one in terms of, could be great for, obviously, for a birthday. But there's two designs using the exact same layout and same technique. So now let me show you a couple more ideas. So the other one I want to show you is a Christmas one. So this Christmas one, I want to show you how you can use black on white. So this is just the Snowflake Wishes, which is also a two-step. This one is not two-step, a two-step stamp. So I built up some of these snowflakes. So this is a much bolder card for sure than this one here, but exactly the same technique, except that I used white embossing powder for both on my black pieces. So this guy here, I used my snowflake over the entire piece, and then I cut it out with my layering circle, and I did the exact same snowflake in white on the black so that it just looks like it's got two colors there. So I always like to know too which one you like best. So I have one more to show you. And then this guy here shows you a little bit of versatility, and this is the Nothing's Better Than stamp set. And I was thinking that this one would be good for a fella. Maybe lose the little bow if I had to, but today is a cookies kind of day. So this one is two-step as well. And the trick on the two-step here is that you want this to be lighter. So you want the inside cookie part to be a little bit lighter. So I stamped it off once. And this piece right here is in that stamp set, there is some steam coming out of the coffee cup. That's what I used here. Okay, so those are the three. I'd be really interested to know which one you like the best. It's good. Thank you everybody who's new, who's never been before. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got an idea or two. And take a peek on my blog at www.designwithjo.ca, and I will be posting this. And you know what? If you haven't subscribed yet to me on YouTube, you're going to want to head over there and do it. So just go to Design with Jo at YouTube, and you will be able to subscribe and get all of my videos. So thanks everybody. Have a wonderful day, and we will see you next week for another Case the Cattie. Bye-bye.